when it comes to religion, we don't discuss, we decide. He told me, you know, I've worked in the forces for a long year.
Yes.
And I have friends from every country visiting me. And when you were young, remember there were friends from Israel. They visited me. I say, yes, I remember. Did you see them entering my boma? Because when his friends who were Christian came to visit him, he went outside the boma and slaughtered a cow for them there. And they talked there and they finished there. There are no Christian who have ever entered our gate. No. When he knows you are Christian, he put a tent outside our gate. He deals with you there. I told him, he said, now tell me, are you a Christian or a Muslim? I said, Baba, unajua kila mtu ajua baba yake. So I knew this man, risasi tota. So I was just trying to buy time so that Mama will appear. And Mama is not appearing. Then my father, I don't know, up to today, I think it is God. My father doesn't do that. He said, Adam Hajj, I am counting up to 10. And he cocked, you know, ibinduki vile na kokiwa. Krak, you can hear it. He cocked and he said, I am counting up to 10. I don't know what entered my father. He closed his eyes and he said in our language, 1, 2, hey. Ile mbio nilitoka hapo.
Huko ngoja ifike 10.
And I knew my father cannot shoot me at the back because he's a warrior. He's known as a warrior. In Somali, warriors don't shoot somebody at the back. Yeah. They shoot him in front. Pigi risasi mtu nyuma ni mbele. Mtu kama amekimbia unaachana naye. You don't shoot. And I knew that principle my father had. So I ran to the forest. Ujue, I got saved on 6th February 1998. It was Friday. So we have what we call Salatul Jum'ah, if you know. It is the prayer like Sunday service. It is always at 1. At 3 p.m. they have Salatul Asri. That is the I think we have Subhi, Dhuhri, then Asri, the third prayer time. So after Muadhin, Allahu Akbar, 26 Mosque of Kismayu, Speaker Kainuka. We are looking for a man called, even I'm not Ustad now, a man called Hajj Mohmmed. He has become a murtad. He has become a kafir. If any person who can bring his head will be rewarded. Ishai, that is around 8. The prayer unasikiaga ile ya mwisho kabisa. My sister was live on TV. You remember I told you we adopted 2 sisters. They are like my family. We adopted them when they were 6 months. You know, we grew up with them. She went to Inglesia. It's English school.
Yes.
We went to Arabic school. She went to English school. She's a good accountant, unajua.
Yeah.
And she went live
on national television.
And you know what she said? If you kill Adam Hajj, you will marry me. Free of charge.
What?
That's what she said.
Now your father turned against you. Now your sister.
You will marry me. Na unajua ni karembo ndugu yangu. And that's Hajj Mohmmed, unajua, he has a name. If you can Google him and look for him. I don't like those things I'm remembering, but he has a name. Every person. And you remember, I didn't get saved at the time of Al-Shabaab. I got saved at the time of ICU, Islamic Court Union. They were bad. They will kidnap you, wanakukata mkono peke yake, wakukate mkono puli. They don't kill you once. They kill you slowly. You die of it. That was the time I got saved. So I ran to the bush, waiting for Jesus, and he didn't appear. And unajua nilikuwa na confident ya kwamba maybe Jesus will come pick me from the forest, take me somewhere where unajua pali yote tu ile. He didn't come. I don't know how to pray. I've never seen a Christian praying. So nikakaa mwezi wa kwanza Israel
kwa msitu.
si kwa msitu peke yake. Mvue kwa kujificha, because mchana watu wanaingia msitu kukutafuta, unajificha. Ikifika jioni usiku kama saa 4 unusu, watu wamelala, unajua watu wanarudi kwa maboma yao, wengine wakula miraa kwa maboma yao, you go to dustbin, you collect food in a paper bag. Hiyo ndio itakusurvivisha from eating what I want, from eating what is available.
Wow.
Tabu. Haya, Yesu tena hatokei. That's why unakuta I have a strong faith. When I pass through persecution, hata Yesu akatae kunitoa, I don't fear, because he is watching.
Yes.
I have kids. Saa ile wanatembea wakianguka, do you think I'm not there? I'm there, but I'm watching. Wakianguka na cheka. Haya, simama baba, anasimama tena.
Yes.
You go 4 steps, and you know, I don't know whether you do that in our tribe. We do what we call baba. You tell your child like this, baba, then you go back, so that achukue muda mrefu. You don't wait for him here.
Yes.
So anachukua 4 steps, anaanguka, then you laugh. Then you tell baba. When he is near to reach you, you go back, so that he can move. Sometimes God does that to us, and we are complaining. He is training us how to walk.
So God was training you.
Yes. If your kids ameanguka chini kidogo and you cry, that kid will never walk.
Yes.
Lazima umwache anguke kidogo.
True.
Then you tell him, you don't tell him sasa umeanguka usisimame tena. No, you tell him baba. He wakes up. When he is near you, you go back. That's why sometimes people complain about, oh God, he has not answered my prayer. You know, nowadays in Kenya, you buy even prayer. Kenya tumefikaga mbali ndugu yangu. I don't want to speak about that. Don't ask me, please. We buy even prayer. We buy even intercessors. There was a time I was in Catalonia, and somebody was praying, and I told him, hey bro, I need to help you to pray. And he said, bro, me, I don't have a work. So a friend of mine who is working, he paid me to come and pray for him in Catalonia.
Wow.
Sisi tumefika mbali ndugu yangu. Tumepita nafikiri kila if you have lived in Tanzania, I've lived in Rwanda.
Yes.
As a missionary. I know these countries, how they respect God. Us.
I've seen even companies here in Kenya.
Yes.
They employ someone just to pray for them.
Yes. And the more your name is hard, you know, apostle, prophet, I don't know this, the more you see things. I'm a prophet. I can tell you, man of God, I feel in my heart God is telling you, don't travel. You'll get an accident. That's a prophecy. But I don't want this prophecy ati ninaona fridge kwa nyumba yako iko na maembe 2. What will it help me for with? What ana na maembe bwana, nitatunda kwa miti. Tell me what that says the Lord.
Yes.
Unajua Kenya tumefika mbali. Sana. So that I didn't want to return here. I stayed in Tanzania very comfortably. God forced me to return here. Through a very great politician. I don't think I can name him, but he's one of the greatest politicians here. Yeah.
Now let me ask you, how now did you get out from that particular point? Because also you told us, you mentioned something about now you also getting married and also your wife being married by these guys. So
yes.
What really happened?
Let me tell you first how I came out. I stayed in the kwa hiyo pori for 3 months. I stayed completely 8 months from mwezi wa pili paka mwezi wa 10. That's 8 months.
Yes.
But I stayed in 3 months. Then another person, because rumors now have gone everywhere. It's in magazine, it's in everywhere. Another person had me getting saved. He was working with an NGO. He heard that he's a Somali. He heard that I got saved. Kumbe jamaa naye alikuwa ameshapanga ataokoka.
Wow.
Lakini anaogopa. So he had Hajj is saved, is in this forest. So he decided to come to that forest. He traveled from Mogadishu to Kismayo to that forest. Then he came and he was like, Adam Hajj. And I was hiding. But it's Adam, and I look at him, I felt in my heart, this guy is one. I can defeat him. So I told him, what do you want? He said, I'm looking for Adam Hajj. Unajua, I was 98 kilograms. I don't know after 3 months how many kilograms, but October, when they were taking me out of that forest, walinipima kwanza kilo. I was 36.
What?
Yes.
Hey.
Paka leo tumbo imekataa kabisa. Unaona? 8 months in the forest, unanyeshewa, hakuna chakula, unakula takataka. So after 3 months, your jamaa ndo kuja, so I told him, what do you want to say, Adam? I just say, remove your clothes if you want to see me. So he removed his clothes and became naked. Just part of security. Anaweza kuwa ameweka bomu kwa nguo, alipuke na mimi. So I say, remove your clothes. He removed. He's my dear friend of some few days. He came, he hugged me. He weared his clothes, say, I'm so and so. I'm working with Food for the Hungry. At that time, Food for the Hungry was distributing a lot of food in Somalia. I heard about Christ before you from people who he was working with. Some of them are missionaries, and I feared to get saved, but I heard you in this forest, but I've decided to follow you. So he became my first pastor, because he knows about Christ. I don't know. Now we sat down under the tree. It's me asking question. How can I know Jesus Christ? He said, for you to know Jesus Christ, you have to go to Ethiopia or Djibouti or Kenya. You know, Somalia has three countries on the border.
Yes.
Djibouti, Ethiopia, and Kenya. That's where the others are very small. That's where you'll get the Bible. And if you can get the Bible, you know, in Somalia, for you to carry a Bible, it's a sin. You can be arrested by police. So, so for you to read about Jesus, you have to know about Jesus. You have to read to get the Bible.
Yes.
And it is in this country you'll get. How will we go? I don't know. Kwanza he told me, kwanza wewe Adam Hajj, sijui utapitaje maberia. I don't know. Vile utapita. Kila bahali kuna beria jeshi ya this and this, I don't know how will pass. Okay. I asked him, now I know the Bible I cannot get, because I didn't have any way to come out of a place where I am. I didn't have money, I didn't have means, I didn't have a friend. So I told him, okay, you know, Muslims, we face Al-Kaaba and we pray, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. How do Christians pray? He said, my dear friend, sijui kama utashika. One day, nimeenda kwa hiyo kanisa yao, nikachungulia kwa dirisha, they were praying. And they were moving from one corner to another, wakigonga. I think he went to, he saw at the time people were in warfare, because he wanapiga kelele and they are speaking the language that I don't know. But they were moving from one corner to another. So I told him, let us try to move. So we moved from one corner to another. Nikambe haikai prayer, bro. Haikai prayer kabisa. We tried to move na anagonga chini vile aliwaona. Unajua aliwaona kwa dirisha. You have never been there. So I asked him, my dear friend, what other things do you know about Christianity? So he started telling me about the love of Christ. Ile walimwambia sasa. Unajua, when you reach first, you don't tell people about prayer. You tell him about the love of Christ. And I was so much happy to hear about Christ. I always say he's my first pastor. My first pastor. I stayed with that guy for 3 days only. Then the second day, when he came, the first day it was talking and eating what I've collected. So the second day at night, we went out to the whatsoever. We collected what we can get. Pale kwa mapipa na kila kitu. We collected dustbins. We collected, I remember, I think there was a wedding, but there was a party somewhere. So we had, there was a party somewhere, and we decided to go to their dustbin. It was very big. But I think they realized Adam Hajj anajificha, lakini usiku chakula anakuja kutoa kwa pipa. So they did what they did with that food. We went to the second day, that night we couldn't sleep. Tumbo inauma Israel.
Walieka sumu.
I don't know whether it's poison or what, but tumbo ilikuwa inauma. Tunabingirika usiku mzima. Imefika mchana. Up to midday. Let me tell you this. Up to midday, it reached a place. We hold hands with Abdurrashid and we laid looking upside. And I told him, this thing, it seems we'll die. And if we die, let us die holding our hands, so that whomsoever will come and see us, ajue Mungu yuko. So we hold our hands pain, mi sijaisikia pain kama hiyo. Tumbo inakatakata, my dear brother, inakatakata. Then I don't know what happened Israel. This is very funny. Very funny because when I had pain, you know, our stomach was very dry. So kila kitu inakata kwa tumbo, unasikia kama kisu imeingia pale ndani. Then I felt like helping myself. So I told Abdul Rashid, I feel like I want to help myself. So Abdul Rashid is funny. For those 3 days I have laughed a lot. So he told me, we Haji wewe, hii chakula ya pipa in our language, hii chakula ya pipa inanuka, go very far. So I just listened to him, I laughed, I went far. We don't have toilets, Israel.
Yeah.
No toilets is in the bush. So I opened my kanzu. I had one kanzu wearing for 8 good months. So I removed the pajama. You know the pajama? It doesn't need a belt. And when I was sitting down, I had the takbir. Allahu Akbar, takbir, Allahu Akbar. They were told by a woman who saw us where we were.
What?
So they are carrying everything, heading there. So I slept down. And nearly, I can guess, but I'm not sure. Nearly 300 people walipita juu yangu hivi. Mimi nimelala hapo chini. Kando, kila pahali wanapita unajua. They were running towards that tree I told you. And there they found Abdul Rashid. He had a problem with earrings. So when I talk, I have to shout. I don't know whether he had or not because I've never asked him that question. But they found him there. They caught him. They tied him in that tree, wakamfunga kwa hiyo miti. And they started, that's the first love I've ever seen in Christianity. They asked him, where is Adam Hajj? And he said, I don't know. He was beaten, na unajua uko na kupiga na mnyororo, beaten all over, cried, he was screaming, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And I was there watching from afar as he was crying Jesus, and he was asked, where is Adam Hajj? And one of the leaders was my father. Where is Adam Hajj? He said, I don't know where he is. I've never seen Adam Hajj. Screaming, says, I've never, so that I can hear. You know, the plan is that he believes when he shouts, I will hear. I say, I don't know Adam Hajj. I don't know where he is hidden. I've never seen him. He's shouting. So one of the guys, I think it's his father, because I've never seen him, akachukua ile shoka ya kuvuna asali. Our people always put it here. Those wafugaji wanapenda kuiweka hapa. And he cut him here. Cut! And he said he was tied. What? And he said, let him bleed until he die. Just leave him there so that animals can eat him. And they went. When they went, I rushed to that place, opened that, I will never forget, opened that whatsoever tied him, and Abdul Rashid fall on my chest. And he told me 2 things. He told me, I will never forget. There are a lot of things he told me, but 2 things I will never forget. He said, Hajj, my end has come, but we have a long way. Stand still. I will never forget that.
Wow.
Yeah, he told me, stand still. And I remember the way he stood still, protecting me. Protecting me. That was the first. He told me a lot of things. You know, when somebody is about to die, he speaks a lot.
Yes.
But the second one he told me, he said, you will have a lot of time in this world. But my dear brother, persecution will come. Problem will come. Betrayal will come. But I am going to heaven. Let us meet there. I will be so much disappointed if I will not see you in heaven.
What?
At that time, you know, somebody anakufa. I didn't take it seriously. So nikamshika and he smiled a lot. He smiled a lot. I still remember his face up to today. He smiled a lot and he died.
He died in your hands?
Yeah, in my hands. And at that night, I didn't went to get food. I went to my uncle's farm. I know how it is. Pale anaeka majembe. Then I stole a jembe. I asked for apology. Nowadays he's a Christian. So I stole a jembe from, I don't know whether you do this in the farm. There is somewhere like a store. Unaeka majembe. I knew his store. So I went there without permission. I stole one jembe. And the whole night I was digging the grave for Abdul Rashid. And I didn't dig so much. Up to today, I visit that grave. I didn't dig so much because I was tired. depressed,
Hungry.
hungry.
And also you
didn't-
had a stomach issue.
yeah, issues. Hata saa hiyo imepotea, hata sasa sijui hata imeenda wapi. You know, I've panicked. Hata mi sasa kichwa ikuku. Then I took Abdurrashid up to that grave that I have prepared. Then Israel, I didn't know how to bury a Christian. I knew how to bury a Muslim. There is a way that they bury, but I didn't know. So I just sit down and started thinking. So I took his jacket, I put it on top of his head kusudi mchanga isimuingie kwa kichwa. So I put him on his right side, sleeping on his right side, because I thought if he face down labda ni makosa, if he's face up mchanga wote tamwangukia. That's the reasoning, because I don't know about. So kamaga mchanga, there is no coffin, no cloth, it is his cloth. His jacket is the one I used it to protect his head. Nikarudisha mchanga. That's how my friend died. And after today I visit him where the body is, because his spirit is with Jesus Christ. So I always visit his body. And he's my first pastor, my first everything. You know, if somebody tells you something and is dying, you listen a lot. And you know, we are living in a generation Israel, makosa kidogo inaweza kutoa kwa Yesu. Hata ukiwa huna nguo ya kubadilisha, unatoka kwa kwaya because you don't have clothes to change. You know, we have become, I don't know what is happening to the church, but makosa kidogo tu inatuondoa.
Yes.
So I stayed for another 5 months Israel. Then those guys who are working with Abdurrashid came to look for Abdurrashid. They thought he's alive, they can take him anywhere. They came and look for him. So they found me. And I look at them, they were not Somalis, you know if somebody is a Somali. And I talked and they told me, we are looking for Abdurrashid. I said, Abdurrashid, yeah, I buried him here. Who are you, Adam Hajj? They couldn't believe. Because the posters they have, I am very big. This one, I'm very thin. You are like, yeah. And then I have a lot of hair, unajua kwa sababu ya kukaa porini. So one of them, Dr. Njoroge, I'll never forget him. He told me, we'll take you to Kenya, but you have to die. I told him why. He said, the only way we can pass every block that the police have put it and the jeshi and everything,
yes,
is through a coffin. So they made for me a coffin with a big glass. So kama ninafungua hivi, I can breathe. I have pamba ready. So when they do like this, I know there is a roadblock. Narudisha ile kio, nachukua pamba naeka kwa pua na mdomo. That's 4 weeks from Kismayu to Elwaq. 4 weeks. I survived rain, I survived everything, but Israel, in my heart up to today, nothing can separate me from the love of Christ.
Wow.
Nothing. I survived hunger. You know hunger? Because for 4 days they couldn't open the coffin because blocks zinafatana. Like when you're about to reach Mogadishu, unajua sasa zinafatana hivi. Roadblock. They can't, they fear, because if they are found, they will also be killed. So they say, guy, you have to survive. There was a time it reached a place where I could not eat. So anaeka chakula ile ya mrija. When we reach a roadblock, they remove it. Hakuna kubembeleza. Wana remove na mina ninaibana pahali, damu isitoke na naeka pamba. Then they put it again. But, you know, I made my own decision. Nothing can separate me from the love of Christ.
yes.
Not what I am passing through, not what I am seeing, not what I am hearing. Nothing. So I came to Kenya by the grace of God. I got the alien citizen first. You know, they give out alien citizen.
Yes.
I lived in the street. Somebody told me, if you want to survive, go to Taita. And I went to Taita, to a place called Voi. I survived there a lot. With a lot of problem. I didn't get a wife to marry. I remember the first Kenyan, I was very dirty. The first Kenyan, I told her, I can't forget this. She's a pastor. I told her, Pastor, I want to marry you. And she laughed. And then, Israel, she knelt down and she started crying.
Why?
akainua mkono akasema, Mungu, nimekukosea nini mpaka uniadhibu hivi? I'm telling you, she looked at my clothes, not at my future.
Oh my goodness.
Not at my destiny. She looked at my clothes. So I got luck. I went to Bungoma Bible School. Then Presbyterian, they had evangelism and mission. Yes. I went there. Then I went home for 7 good years, Israel. There I went to Mogadishu, to Medina Hospital. Medina Hospital is like Kenyatta Hospital, the biggest. Why? Nilijua watu watanipiga. So I have to preach near the hospital.
Yeah.
Nikipigwa niingie wapi? Hospitali.
Now this one is after
training and everything.
Now you went back.
And God spoke to me to go back. Because at that time, a lot of churches were looking for me. I remember KAG, if I'm not wrong, Presbyterian. I'm the first Presbyterian, mimi na mchungaji, to open the lunch hour in town. So we had a good future. The churches were there, but God spoke to me, go back home. And I went to Somalia with 12,000 Kenya shilling. Only. And I survived there for 7 years. So ninapiga gu haya anamano ilahina unte haya anamano, crowd come. Then you start preaching about Jesus. They beat you, Israel.
What?
They beat you. Haya, you are bleeding. You rush to Medina Hospital. I pray to God, Mungu wangu leo nilalishwe ward, because in ward I'll get a bed and I will get food. The doctor anakuandikia, anasema you are Christian, utakufia hapa, chukua hii dawa, ondoka, painkillers. So I sleep in a bush.
And this is where God had sent you.
Yes.
Hey. You know, it's so rare to see this kind of callings.
Up to today, if we finish in a meeting, you can look here. Nimepigwa hapa, paka skali yangu ina crack. Hata madaktari wanashangaa how I survive. Yeah, it has a crack. Up to today, you can see it, you can feel it.
Yes.
Nimepigwa bwana. So I got the first member, a man and his son. So he joined me. Now he's beating the drum. Unaingia, asubuhi I teach you the word, jioni tuko evangelism. Gonga, and I've already ordained him as an elder, kwa sababu ni mzee kunishinda. So haya na mano, I preach. That day we were beaten. I'm young, I ran. Me and his son.
Yeah.
He couldn't run to the hospital. Wakamshika bwana. They put him in a pipa, ile pipa ikubwa hii. They started buying petrol, putting in that pipa. The son said, I have to go there. So the son watched as they burn his father. Wakaeka kibriti. But can I tell you something? When he was about to die, the son told me, he sang a song we normally sing, that God, you are faithful. You have never failed me. When he was burning, when they put, unajua ile sauti unasikia ndani ya moto, until he died. Can you imagine? God, you are faithful. You have never failed me. And somebody is being burned kabisa na akakufa. So his son became mad. You know, he was a young boy. He became mad and he said, it's better I die for Christianity. So he went to Souk. Souk is marketplace. He started preaching there and they shooted him and he died. I didn't have any other member. I started one. So by the grace of God, I preached. After nearly 1 year, I got 6 members. We built the first house of God in Mogadishu, in a forest. Tulikata miti na mkono yetu. Tukafunika na manyasi, ile manyasi tunakata. So we are the first people build a church of God kwa mikono yetu, and we are so happy.
Wow.
Kukata miti. So it was a small hut. So it has the first service, second service, third service, fourth service. 4 services. 6 people. I told them they can kill me anytime. I have a lot of information. So we are doing the first service, I preach to you. Then the second service, I will preach another subject. Every day, we are having 4 services. Then one day, at that time, Al-Shabaab, Al-Kwashainkia, they were burnt, all of them with their kids. So I rushed to another town. I found another woman there, Christian. We met by the grace of God. It is in my testimony. You can hear how we met. She was pregnant. She got saved. I decided to tell her, mimi nitakuwa nakaa porini, saa 9 niletee chakula. Then I will teach you the word of God. So she normally brings me food. I teach her the word of God. Because I feared I will die with everything I knew. Yeah. So I thought if they will kill me, it's better. Niwe nimepatia mtu. Israel, maybe I'll give you some time to ask me a lot of questions, but after that ule mwanamke alikatwa tumbo, mtoto akatolewa because of Christianity.
What happened?
Kwa market. She was caught. You know, I went there with the Somali Bible, and you know what I do? I cut the pages. I tear the Somali Bible into the pages. I hide it. So if you are in the book of John, I'll give you just one page. Sasa itajulikana ni Bible unaficha. So you read it in the toilet. So as she was reading it, I don't know what happened. Her husband appeared na akamkuta akiwa hapo na kuomba in tongues. So I went directly to Kismayo, and I decided now I'll preach here because I felt like my death is near, you know, by what I'm passing through. So I said, if I die in another country, nobody knows me, but on another town. But when I go to Kismayo, maybe people will know me that Adam Hajj is dead. So I decided to go there. And I started preaching slowly now because I have wisdom. I've grown in the Lord. I've started preaching slowly, one-to-one, through love. That's why I believe the best gospel is through love of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
I told them what I passed through, and I got the first member, the second member, the third member. They reached 6 members, 7 members, up to around 12 members. We decided to build the house of God again. So at that time is when my uncle got born again. The one I stole Jembe from him, you remember?
Yes.
So I went there to apologize, and he told me, I want your God. After apologizing, so we went to somewhere very far, his farm, which has not been farmed for so long.
Yes.
We built the house of God, and we started building Markaz Daud. Markaz Daud is the David Center. You remember when David was chased away, he went to the forest with a lot of team. So we went there, and we were encouraging each other. Every day was a persecution for us.
Yes.
Every day was a persecution for us. My aunt, great people of God who are encouraging me. Unajua Israel, my aunt, that is my father's sister.
Yes.
I think she's called aunt. She gave birth to a baby girl, and she was born again. So she used to come to our camp, and one day she was breastfeeding, and these guys came from nowhere, and they told her, you are Christian, you cannot breastfeed a Muslim baby. She was a baby girl. Na wakamkata matiti yote.
My goodness.
By a knife. And I felt bad. I rushed her to hospital. They do everything they can do, lakini walisimamisha kila kitu. I'm not a medical doctor, so I don't know, but ile kidonda ilikataa kupona, so hakuweza kuvaa blouse kwa sababu ile kidonda itashika blouse. So alikuwa anavaa skati, and she came to my office. I had a small office, and she told me, Adam Hajj, kama unataka vita na mimi, ninyime huduma Mungu amenipea. She was our praise and worship leader.
You want to say they cut off her breast?
Yes, and she didn't wear a blouse until she died.
Did they took the child?
Yeah, they took the child. Pain of losing a child and the breast. Na unajua nyama tupu. That's the day I saw kumbe ni mafuta. And amekaa hospitali 3 months, amerudi. She want to do her ministry. And she said, you cannot take my ministry from me. Wewe unafanya yako ya kuhubiri, utaenda mbinguni. Mimi yangu ni gani? I said, okay, but auntie, you can't lead praise and worship. I said, I will lead. So she couldn't wear the top kwa sababu itashika ile nyama. She wear the blouse. Remember, sometimes she leads praise and worship, she raises her hands na inaanza kutoa maji na vitu vya ajabu. It's so painful. And she led us for nearly 4 months Israel. There is no single day she missed. Painfully, but she's worshiping God.
Wow.
Painfully, but she's praising God. Until one day I was talking to an elder. I was coming to Kenya to preach, for your information, for Bishop Pius Mwiru. That's the time I preached for him. And he was in audience cinema, I think, that time.
Yes.
And I was speaking to an elder, giving advice what he will do with the ministry, because I'm going to Kenya for nearly 4 months. So I was talking to him, and he touched me. I said, look. And I turned. My aunt alikuwa amezidiwa, she couldn't move, and she fell down with the microphone, and I rushed to her, and she gave me the microphone. She said, don't leave this until you die. And she died.
So she was doing worship, praise and worship, and she was in pain.
Very pain. Unajua, if they cut your breast and you're lifting up your hand, inyama inainuka. You know that. Hata wewe ukiinua sasa kifua inainuka tu. Na mtoto ameondoka. Remember, she's a mother. So that day my flight ilikuwa nikamwambia mimi I will not bury her. You know, in our fellowship we don't bury Somalis.
Yes.
When I speak about burying, you have to ask me, how do you bury?
Yes.
Yes. You know how we bury? We put you in a nylon. We put stones. We take a boat to the ocean. Then we throw you in an ocean, because Kismayo is in the ocean. They don't allow to bury Christians. That's in Kismayo where I lost my mom. She was born again. Na mzee akamkata na ile msimeno wa kukata miti. If you know that.
Mzee now the Baba.
Yeah, into pieces. Na akanirushia. So I stayed in them with the pieces of my mom for nearly 4 or 5 days. I was crying for God. Like I was reading the book of Ezekiel. Pieces to come together. Mkono iko huko nimeunganisha, kichwa huko huko. Kichwa imekatwa karibu mara 7. Mimi naunganisha. Minalia in the pulpit. I couldn't talk to any person until Dr. Mike Brown came. He's a preacher from Nakuru. He flied all over to Kismayo. He said, you have to bury your mom, whether you like it or not. So the elders has his phone number. They called him. He said, this guy will become mad. And I was crying to the Lord to do a miracle, and he couldn't do. And you know, mimi Israel nisamee sana. Siamini Mungu kwa sababu amefanya miujiza.
Yes.
Naamini Mungu kwa sababu yeye ni Mungu. Akifanya miujiza sawa, asipofanya sawa, I still believe in Jesus Christ. Not because he has done me miracle, because he has saved me. That's enough miracle. He has shed his blood. That's enough miracle. Whether he gives me a wife, no problem. He will give me or not, I will still believe in him. He give me a car or not, I will still believe in him.
Yeah.
That's where they killed my wife. I'm married to a Kikuyu now. So I had my Somali wife at that time. And we were doing a wedding. And you know, she's from the border there of Somalia and Ethiopia. So she traveled all the way from our fellowship, and she came to Kismayo. So I couldn't see her. She's a very beautiful lady, very beautiful. And I told her, how much dowry do you want? Because she doesn't have a father or a mother. So I asked her if she can receive the dowry. And she said, it will take you lifetime. And I said, what? And she said, my dowry is teach me the Bible.
Wow.
So teach me the Bible until you die. That's my dowry. And I said, no problem. I'll keep the promise. So we laughed together. That was the first time I saw her. First time in the fellowship, I loved her. So nikamchumbia. So they, you know, we don't meet in Somali fellowship. So wazee wakamleta akawa nakaa kwa wazee, but we met in Kismayo once. And we chatted, unataka watoto wangapi, nini, you know, those things, preparing for our future. So we did our wedding. A pastor came from Kenya. He officiated us. So we went outside to take photos, so that we can go for honeymoon. And I've already planned my honeymoon in Kenya. And I was excited waiting to talk to her. She's a very lovely woman, very beautiful woman. Then a Land Rover came. And one of my uncles, one is born again, the other one was leading. And he said, wapi mutu ameoa, in our language. And I kept quiet. And he came to me and said, you cannot marry as a Christian, you have to become a Muslim. And I told her I will marry as a Christian. Then wakashika ile msichana nywele, wakaangusha chini. Wanaume wawili wakafungua miguu. Then they took those Somali knife into her private part. And she died in my hands, wedding day. And Israel, all my hope, you know, all my dreams, ikaenda chini.
This is so painful, even to.
And they went away. You cannot carry her. The whole sword has entered through her private part, I think, to the stomach. God. You know, she has stayed, but huwezi kumkuncha, unajaribu kubeba straight. And I took her to the pulpit. And one of the elders asked me, when will this Jesus save us? And Israel, I look at him and I say, I don't know. But one day he will save us. I don't know when. And my wife was there dead. The first day that tumevalishwa pete. Say, I don't know, but I know.
Allow me to ask this. I know time is not really on us, but allow me to ask this, because Why were they after your wife, not you as a person?
A lot of people knew I'm Hafiz al-Quran. A lot of people knew that if they kill me at that time, I will die as a martyr, somebody who have fought. So they were trying to kill new believers more than even the old believers.
So their aim was just to discourage you
discourage me and to come back. A lot of people believed that I'll come back. Even there was a time, it was in the internet, that I've become a Muslim. There was a time that was in internet. I went to swim with my kids, and they told me to sleep like this, and then they drew my name and they took a photo and I put it in the internet, and everybody said Adam Hajj is dead, he's shooted. You know, internet, they can write anything.
Yeah.
But Israel, that was the day. Ukiniuliza majaribu gani nishaipitia maisha yangu niyo. When she was down there. And I still have hoped. But have you ever had hope inside hope?
Yeah.
Ile hope ya juu imekufa, kuna ile kidogo imebaki ndani, ndio unaichochea kama balloon. Ifure. I was like that woman. You know, she was my everything, and the church was discouraged that if pastor's wife will be killed, what about us?
Yes.
God is not protecting us. So you have to start again teaching people how God works. That's why I told you, sometimes when God speaks, when he keeps quiet, he's still speaking.
Yeah.
So that's what I passed through in short. And I always ask people in Israel, before I finish, I want to ask Kenyans this question.
Yes.
What separates you from the love of Christ? What makes you live Christ? What makes you live this love that Somalis are dying for? They are persecuted every day, but they don't live Christ.
Yes.
What are you passing through is very small. Very small. I am married to a Kikuyu lady now. And one day they come and they look our house. They said, you have not paid your bills. And I didn't have money. So mama asked me, sasa tutafanyaje? Nikamwambia Mungu amefunga kwa sababu tujakesha, twende kanisani kukesha paka tupate pesa. Those things doesn't touch me. It's not a temptation to me. I have seen my mother died in my own hands. My wife that I've married, my aunt, my families, Abdueli, my biggest friend. A lot of even Kenyans who are killed. That's what I told Kibaki when I went to State House. We are killed every day because of our faith. But we don't lose hope. Every day is a new date for us.
Yeah.
Every day it's a new day to us. Now in Somalia, they say there are more than 300 Somali Christians. That's what they say.
Yeah.
But at that time, we could count only 2 or 3 fingers. What separates you from the love of Christ? What are you passing through today? I'm asking those listeners. Ile unapitia leo ndio inakufanya umwache Yesu. Murudie Yesu Kristo. Murudie. I can't promise you persecution will not come. It will come. But you have to stand still. Hapo ndio Yesu atajua kama unampenda ama la. Si wakati unapeleka gari mpya. Ni wakati shida inatokea ndio Yesu anaangalia utasimama na mimi ama la. Wakati kuna njaa, Yesu ndo anaangalia kama utasimama na mimi ama la. Wakati hakuna rent, Yesu ndo anaangalia utasimama na yeye ama la. Wakati hauna afya, uko mgonjwa, that's the time Yesu anahakikisha upendo wake kwako. Si wakati una magari na afya.
Yeah.
This time what you are passing through, ndo Yesu anahakikisha. Asante sana Israel.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Asante.
That is a very powerful testimony.
Yes.
And right now you have a wife.
Yes.
And you have kids?
Yes. A Kikuyu beautiful wife.
Nimepata huko kwetu.
She's called Wangare.
Wangari. I have a sister called Wangari.
Wangare. Very beautiful. I used to put her in Facebook, but she refused because these guys wakaanza kumtarget tena. So I removed her from everywhere. I removed her from my Facebook and everywhere. You know, she's not in the picture, but she's a very beautiful woman. She's trying to write a book, Living with a Somali Christian.
Yeah.
She knows a lot of things more than me.
Yeah.
So we have adopted 3 kids and we have 2 kids of our own.
Wow.
So we have 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. You have a church?
No, a ministry.
Oh, you are a minister?
Yeah, in Kitengela. We have offices there in Kitengela.
Okay.
96.9 FM. Pearl Radio.